All right, everybody, looking back at the Canadian tickers, and money is growing on trees. Congratulations to all the bulls. This breakout is for real, and some serious gains are being made. You want to be walking up and having an exit plan. If you're in long, then you're not really caring about the daily chart. If you're looking at multiple years, if you are trading and you would like to lock in profit and make a cheaper entry, you're walking stop losses up. And one pattern that stands out, a lot of these names are forming higher lows, at least the names in breakouts. They're forming higher lows every day on this breakout. So we know when that pattern changes, it will be a red flag. Once we start seeing a lower low form, we know consolidation is likely to occur. I'm also going to be putting out another video on my YouTube channel tonight, a bit more of a lesson on inside candlesticks. That's worth watching as well because it can certainly apply to these Canadian charts, can apply to any chart. So let's get into it. CGC, MT, APH, ACB, OGI, SPRW, and we have earnings as factors now as well. And we're seeing big time responses for earnings, and that's what's keeping this rally going. This was a very clear CGC here to start. Very clear bearish reversal candlestick at the top of a breakout, indicating consolidation is more likely to happen. Then we have earnings come out. Look at the bull volume, reaction to earnings, big time continuation, negating the bearish reversal candlestick. It would have had to have seen a red day the next day to confirm it. Holding the breakout, upper Bollinger Band riding as support. You can see it's pretty much exponentially rising every day. And that level is going to be in the low $12 range tomorrow. As long as we keep closing above the upper Bollinger Band on the daily, we remain in breakout mode. This is one of the strongest closes we've seen in the past couple days, so we are looking for some continuation tomorrow. When the temporary top is hit, it will likely be a strong start to the day, and then things are going to do a 180 on that day, and you'll see a lot of profit taking and a long upper wick, very similar to this candlestick before the earnings kept the bull run going. So I don't expect a dump right away, right when the bell rings. Once we see our temporary top, I think it's going to be met with one last bull push and then to start to pull back. But no sign of that on CGC at this point. Full-on blue sky breakout. RSI does not mean as much. I would normally look at this and say, oh man, we're really due for a pullback. The RSI is extremely overbought, but because we're in blue sky breakout mode, I put a lot less, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot less weight into the RSI. So we're looking at psychological resistances. We've got the all-time high at 1365, then 14, 1450, 15. You get the idea. As long as this bull volume keeps up, if we keep seeing $100 million days, obviously the money is pouring in. MT also breaking out. Not as strong a close, a bit more profit taking. High of the day, we saw 25-cent profit taking from the high of the day. That's about 3%. So close to a bearish reversal spinning top candlestick. We would need to see the upper wick a little bit longer, about the same size as the lower wick. So not quite yet, but we do need to be aware there is a bearish reversal pattern. A 3 gap up pattern is a bearish reversal pattern, and we have now gap up open 4 days in a row. So that shows that the bulls are exhausting themselves to the upside. Volume climaxes often signal the top of an uptrend or the bottom of a downtrend. So if we do see that the volume tops out one day, we will be looking for a potential climax. We can see CGC volume is holding steady. MT is continuing to ascend, increase volume, which is exactly what the bulls want to see. And same thing with the higher low pattern. We've seen a higher low every day on this breakout and a little bit weaker than CGC, but it is following suit. And we had that beautiful breakout. As soon as we got over 424, it was game on for the bulls, and that was the ascending triangle pattern. CGC gave the heads up at the sector leader, and MT and APH followed. Speaking of APH, full-on breakout, increasing bull volume, looking great. Look at the bounces off the low of the day, right off the upper Bollinger Band daily support 3 days in a row. Nice strong close, just 10 cents off the high. We're looking for continuation. Same thing applies with all of these tickers where I believe the temporary top will be set with a final bull push one day and then a turnaround. Again, very similar to this candlestick on, let's see, Friday. It was a bearish reversal candlestick here as well, and a long upper wick, but we did not confirm it as CGC kept running and APH is following it. So MT, forgot to touch on the earnings. I didn't read the specific filings, but obviously it's a bullish reaction to earnings, big increase over profits. So that could be the fuel and momentum the bulls need for further upside. That little upper wick of profit taking, maybe people not wanting to risk being in for those earnings. So we'll see if we get further upside tomorrow. I would anticipate that will be the case, judging by the reaction that CGC earnings had. So APH weekly time frame, full on breakout mode, same story as all of these. Upper Bollinger Band daily support is a must hold to continue the breakout, and we'll be keeping an eye out for a profit taking long upper wick showing a potential top, but there's no sign of that in sight. ACB was the biggest laggard with a very clear lower high pattern on the daily time frame. As soon as we broke 218 today, that showed the bulls were strong. As soon as we broke 226, that was the go signal because that was the break of the lower high pattern. Then we had a higher high. Look at the bull volume. Almost the highest volume we've ever seen, or I shouldn't say ever, but since the new listing here. And so it was very significant volume in the past 6 weeks. We closed above the upper Bollinger Band at highs right near the high of the day, looking for continuation tomorrow. And this laggard is catching up very quickly to the big gains seeing here. ACBV, definitely a big time player now. And I don't have the weekly chart for ACBV, but that's because it doesn't have much information. Daily chart's all you need. And let's look at this downtrend resistance line because I do like using the price action more than these resistance lines. But there was a nice resistance line that was seeing that clear break. And as soon as we broke 226, like I said, that was the signal. And very early on, we could see the bull volume was going to be significant. And all you have to do is compare it to the previous day. And we saw yesterday's total volume in the first part of trading today in the morning. So it was very clear we were going to see high volume. And obviously the bulls followed through. OGI. Continuing the breakout as well, it's not as overbought because we did just consolidate for 2 days before continuing higher on big bull volume. Highest volume we have seen today in the past 3 months. And again, a little bit of an upper wick. We did see 32 cents of profit taking. So that was about, let's see, quick math off the top of my head. That was about 8% off the top of the day of profit taking. So that is fairly significant, probably the greatest percentage of profit taking out of any that we've seen. But we are still above the upper Bollinger Band and we are still forming higher lows and higher highs in breakout mode. The weekly time frame is potentially a bearish reversal hanging man pattern. This is a hammer at the top of an uptrend. And even if we close up at $4, we do still have 3 trading days left to go. But the way that this candlestick has shaped up, pretty much however we close this week is going to be a bearish reversal candlestick. And look at the past. We had a hanging man candlestick indicating some consolidation for a couple weeks. We had a bearish reversal doji indicating a month of consolidation. So this is a bearish reversal hanging man. And even if we close all the way up at 416, that's a bearish reversal doji at the top of the uptrend. So we can pretty much say that no matter how this weekly chart closes, it's going to be a potential volume climax and a bearish reversal candlestick. So we need to keep an eye on OGI here, because that's the weakest weekly candlestick that I've come across yet in these Canadian names. SPRWF, if you saw the video over the weekend, we were anticipating a very clear break on Monday, if not Monday, Tuesday at the latest, and we got it, of course, on the back of news. That certainly helped, but just looking at this chart, you can see the range getting so tight. We know a break is coming. Look at the volume. Volume spike, lower spike, lower spike, lower spike. That's reaching an equilibrium. Volume trailing off. Big spike in volume showing the break. So the news certainly helped the bull spike, but we could see that it was coming, and we knew it would favor the bulls because of the overall trend and because of what the sector leaders were doing. So the news that came out for SPRWF was dilution news, and it's kind of, you have to take with the good with the bad because it helps the company, it raises funds and gives them funds to further their operations, but it does dilute shareholders in the sense that there's going to be more shares hitting the market, and the shares that people already hold are going to be less valuable as more shares are available. It's all about supply and demand of shares, and this just increased the supply of shares. But this is as good a bullish reaction as anyone could have hoped for. And if this were a U.S. name, I bet we would have seen the marijuana stock dump, and that's because these U.S. names are very notorious for all of their dilution, and they've been around for 6 years, and some of their share counts are up in the billions, and it's pretty overextended and pretty ridiculous for some of them. But very nice reaction to this news. Breaking out, higher highs, big bull volume. Same thing with a little bit of profit taking here. We did see 7 cents of profit taking, which is about 5 to 6% off the high of the day. But we're breaking out, and we were overdue to break out after that tight range, and also another laggard here in SPRWF. And I'm doing SPRWF and not SL because I can't get SL on a chart that I like. Google Finance works, but it's really those charts are really hard to utilize for technical analysis. It's really the bare bones of charting. So a nice bounce off the 10-week, but I would be cautious because the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly is resistance at 128, and we did reject from that today. We still have 3 more days where the bulls can get above that level and close the week above it. Just be aware that 128 is a tough level and a very key level going into the end of this week. So summing it all up, the Canadian bulls are in full control. CGC is absolutely worth watching as a leader, and watching the reaction to MT for the earnings. And the news for SPRWF, certainly bullish. Bottom line, be walking a stop loss up if you are trading and looking to re-enter with more shares, the same amount of money, or looking to take some money off the table. Be thinking of a plan, an exit plan. Every day, reestablish a new plan. If the price hits X, I will exit half my shares. If the price hits X, I will exit all my shares. Have that game plan established. Don't let the emotions dictate how you trade in the middle of the day, making decisions on the fly. So bulls in full control. This isn't going to continue forever. We know that. It's going to top out and consolidate, probably for a long period of time once this hype dies down. But as of right now, the times are good and the money is rolling in. Congratulations to all the bulls that foresaw this coming. Very clear breakout, all about the upper Bollinger Band on the daily time frame. I'll check back in a couple more days, and again, we'll be all over that NYSE IPO IIPR in just a few days. Next Tuesday, looking very much forward to that. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic night.